Okay, I'm gonna show you 4 outer hip glute stretches that are my favorite. So we're gonna start with laying on your back. Okay, legs down. You wanna bring one leg in. Make a 90-degree angle with your arm. You wanna really keep, if it's your left leg, your left shoulder on the ground. So your shoulder blade shouldn't be coming up with this. Now you want to push this leg to the opposite side, nice and slow, okay? Keeping that left shoulder blade touching the ground, so only go as far into the stretch as you can keep your shoulder blade on the ground. Okay, now relax into this stretch. You should feel a nice low spine twist in this, okay? You wanna hold this for a good 30 seconds or longer. So you really want this leg to be coming down. You should feel a twist, keeping the opposite shoulder blade on the ground. Don't let it come up. You're gonna lose the stretch. Okay, so coming back on the other side. Right knee comes into the chest, right arm on the ground, right shoulder blade on the ground. Now I'm gonna bring this leg to the opposite side, getting a nice twist. You should feel this in your low back, into the spine. Really gotta relax into this stretch. Okay, hold that for a good 30 seconds at least. Coming back, okay. Second pose is fire log. So for this, you want to bring, so I'm starting with my right knee. You want it to be in kind of like a triangle, so a 90-degree. And then you're going to stack your other leg on top. So your ankle is now resting on that right knee, and you should look like a perfect triangle, okay? For some of you, this is as far as you're going to get into it. You want to think about this knee coming down. You want the knees to be on, the other knee should be touching the ankle, end goal. Okay, you should feel a nice deep stretch along the outside of the hips. So right into that hip socket. Okay, so bring both the knees down. You can lean forward. If you're still not feeling any stretch, that's when you're gonna start walking the hands forward, okay? This should be a deep stretch into that hip there, okay? Holding this for 30 seconds or longer. You can always hold the hip stretches longer. You really wanna try to get your body a minute to relax into the stretch and like let that go, okay? Third position, it's called whale's tail. So again, on your back. Now you want to, so I'm gonna cross the left over the right. Knees should be together. And this may be enough for you. Grabbing the knees and bringing them in, okay? Head and shoulders relax down. Bring those knees into the chest. So on the knee that's in front, so the left hip, you should feel a deep stretch in that left hip there. If that's not enough, this is when you're going to grab the ankles or the calves, wherever you can reach, and you're wanting to bring those towards you. So you'll get a much deeper stretch, keeping the shoulders and head down, but try to keep them in line too. Keeping them in line like a whale's tail and bringing them in, okay? You should get a nice deep stretch on that knee that's closer to you. So again, for the other side, crossing the right over the left, bringing them in. If this is enough for you, stay here. If you want a little more, bring those ankles out, grab them as low as you can, keeping the ankles flexed, foot's flexed, bringing them into the body, okay? You should feel a deep stretch now on that right hip, right in here, okay? Holding this for 30 seconds, a minute, as long as you want. Just make sure you do it as the same as the other side. Last position is pigeon, okay? So for this, coming into a bit of a plank, I'm bringing my left leg in first. So my left leg is coming up towards my hip. So the more you keep your heel into the midline of the body, the easier it is. Check your back foot, make sure your leg is straight behind you, not out to the left or to the right. And now you want to relax into this position, okay? To make this harder, you're gonna bring this ankle away from you up to 90 degrees to feel, and you should feel this kind of in the adductors, in the outside of that left hip. Okay, so for me, I'm going here, and you want to think of being on top of your hips. You don't want to roll, like this is not the stretch. Staying lifted in the middle. Okay, now you can relax into this posture onto your elbows. So when you actually relax, let your breath out, you should feel a nice deep stretch, kind of again in that left glute. And you want to hold this for 30 seconds to a minute, and then switching sides. So coming up, bringing that left leg back, bringing the right leg forward. This may be enough for you. Not collapsing into the hip, staying lifted. If you're not feeling a stretch, walk that foot away from the body, come back to the midline, okay, and then relaxing in. Checking that left leg, make sure it's behind your body and not off to one of the other sides. Okay, holding for 30 seconds to a minute. If there's just no chance that position is happening for you, you can get the same stretch by doing a figure 4. Okay, so you can be seated, crossing one ankle over the other knee, and you can walk your foot in, okay? Try not to collapse like that. You want to try to stay lifted and kind of bring the chest towards that leg. And this is where you can now play around with this too and get some different mobility, range of motion stretches in just by dropping to one side and the other. You should feel all the tendons and ligaments and the hip joint kind of going through that motion, creating more of like a functional stretch. To make this easier, bring that foot more away from the body. To make it harder, bringing it towards the body. Make sure you're keeping the pelvis lifted, trying not to collapse it. Keep everything lifted, you're going to get a deeper stretch. Okay, again, holding for 30 seconds to a minute each side.